There was actually one point where I was stood in the middle of Holborn on the road crying on the phone to my boyfriend at the time. Literally just stood there crying, makeup drenched on my face, just crying, holding that little piece of paper that gives you the result. I was just crying on the side of the road. I don't know what people thought was going on, and obviously this is London, so no one cares. So everyone's just walking past like the girl who's just crying on the side of the street, because what's their business? Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while, and I think I've chosen like the worst day to film this one because it is hot. But yeah, I am back with another video, not as consistently as I would have hoped for, because I was trying to give you guys a video every week, but I am trying. At least it's not been like bare months between videos, so we're getting there, we're getting somewhere. If during the video, like, you know, I move here and there, you might see like a little lump in the back. That's actually my sister-in-law's like backside, because she's literally right behind me. So, you know, I can't really do anything. I've tried to cover it up, but as big as it is, I can't really do much for it, so it's just there. Enjoy. So in this video, I am gonna, well, you've already seen it in the title, but I'm gonna be talking about when I was applying to dental school, what that was like, some information about like when I went for interviews, when I went to do the UCAT, my personal statement, that sort of thing. It's not in depth, this is just me kind of just giving a bit of information about it. I might do a more in-depth one another time, because I actually want to do that in combination with like a couple of other or some of my other fellow students who can give you some info from their perspective as well. So this one is not as in-depth, but yeah, I will be talking to you about that. Disclaimers, because you know I always have to give a disclaimer. Number one, this is like my experience, so it might not be the same as everybody else's. Number two, you might hear some construction noise in the background. This is London, innit? And number three, you might hear a fan in the background. The heat right now, summer 2020, I don't even have to say any more than that. But yeah, now that all of that is out of the way, we can go ahead and launch into the video. So my experience applying for dentistry. I'm going to start from when I applied to dental school. I'm not going to go into like what made me decide to apply or anything like that. That can be found in another video, so just feel free to click up here, because I don't really feel like I can give advice on applying, because I always say I feel like I finessed my way into dental school, not in the sense of like, you know, getting the bare minimum or anything, but just, you know, you'll see as I talk through it, you'll understand what I mean. To start off, when I was applying, I think it was back in 2015 that I was applying, and as you do with UCAT, applied to 4 dental schools, and 2 of them were for graduate entry, 2 of them were not. I'll be honest, with the 2 that were not, it was kind of really just filling up spaces on the UCAS thing, because the truth of the matter is, if I'd gotten into the ones that were not graduate entry, I wouldn't have gone, because who's got £9 grand plus to just be blowing every year like yourself without help from student finance or NHS budget? Like it just doesn't make sense. And I'm sure you all know, if you are interested in applying to dental school, then you already know that you have to sit, at the time it was called the UCAT, now it's just the UCAT, that you have to sit. Now this would have been the second time that I was sitting the UCAT, because I'd sat it once before, many years before that, when I was going to apply for medicine. I think the decision analysis section, which has now been changed to something else that starts with a D that I can't remember, was my best section. And that was back when you had to, they'll give you like these, like a bunch of like characters and random codes and stuff, and you had to translate it and then try and guess what the sentence was trying to say and all this kind of stuff. And both times that I've sat to UCAT, that was always my best section. So I'm actually a little bit sad that it's gone now. But my worst section was always abstract reasoning. And like everybody else, in terms of the lead up to my UCAT, I would just do a bunch of practice tests, a bunch of practice tests, and a bunch of practice tests. And then what I found was like my sections that were my bad sections just always stayed my bad sections, and the ones that were my good sections just stayed my good sections. And I realized it's because I didn't really have like a great method or anything for studying it. I just kept doing practice tests. That was it. Like there was no, if I was struggling in one section, I didn't try and figure out, like, to be honest, I did research and I did try to figure out like methods and stuff, but it just, I don't know, it just didn't help me. And I feel like looking back, if I had had the chance or the opportunity to maybe like do one of these like UCAT courses and stuff like that, I probably would have done. But at the time, there wasn't as many targeted towards dentistry students, and even the ones that were, or even the ones that were targeted towards medicine students, they were really pricey, and at the time I just could not afford that. So it just wasn't going to happen for me. So it was just like whatever kind of free resources I could find online, that's just what I was using. And obviously I feel like now people who are applying have a bit more of an advantage, because there are so many courses, there are so many booklets, all this kind of stuff that are now available to people that I just did not have at the time. And I think one of the ones I've actually come across, which is actually really good, is called like I Want to Be a Dentist, which is quite weird because I feel like they're quite new. But even though they are new, it's kind of like a one-stop shop. Like they've actually got quite a few different things that you could use. So like they've got like courses, they've got booklets and stuff. And the good thing is they've targeted it, at the people who actually need it most. So the price point makes sense. Like the booklet is like £5. And it's got all the information that you need on the website. And they have like different courses at like different price ranges. And personally, I don't know, I feel like if that was available like when I was doing it, I probably would have used something like that. But unfortunately, when I was applying, that wasn't there. And so I kind of had to like just go it alone the whole time. And so even the lead up to the interview, because once again, like I said in a different video, I mentioned how I came to apply to dentistry in the first place. But even the lead up to the interview, I kind of felt so unprepared. Like, guys, okay, I kid you not, like in my interviews, the very first like station that I was in, so for anyone who doesn't know, like the interviews usually tend to be like maybe 10 stations or 8 stations or 12 stations or whatever, and they're called like MMIs. And like there's usually like a role play, there's another one about ethics, there's another one about this and about that. And the very first one I sat in, on the train on the way to the interview, I had seen something about the GDC. Like it had just said something about the GDC. Did I know what it was? No. And then the very first like interview station I was in, they were like, oh, who's the like governing body or something like that for dentistry. Guys, I sat there and I was like, the GDC, I believe. Guys, the way I said it, I don't know, because the guy kind of nodded in a way that was like, you know, like, okay, good. But I feel like maybe the way I said it maybe sounded more confident than I was, because what I actually meant was like the GDC, like I believe, as in I'm not sure, but I think it sounded more like the GDC, I believe, as if I was confident in what I was saying, but I really wasn't. I was actually asking him, but yeah, I got it right. And that's just because I'd seen that on the train going up there. This just shows you how much I did not know, or how underprepared I was. And I feel like what really saved me in the interviews was like the role plays and stuff, because luckily, I thank God for my mum like shoving me into like theatre and stuff when I was younger, because the role plays I think is what like saved me a lot of the time. Like when it comes to all these different kind of interviews, OSCEs that you do during dental school, whatever, there's usually always a role play station or two, and those are the ones I always bank on to kind of save my life. I'm like, listen, at least if there's one thing I know I can do, it's a role play. I can improvise the hell out of that, and I know that that's gonna make me up some points or whatever. So yeah, going into the interview, I wasn't the most prepared, but I actually did quite well, like if I do say so myself. Back to what I was talking about with the UCAT. So I did the UCAT, struggled my way through it, wasn't the best. Abstract reasoning just dragged my whole average down, to the point where, guys, there was actually one point where I was stood in the middle of Holborn on the road crying on the phone to my boyfriend at the time. Literally just stood there crying, makeup drenched on my face, just crying, holding that little piece of paper that gives you the result. I was just crying on the side of the road. I don't know what people thought was going on, and obviously this is London, so no one cares. So everyone's just walking past like the girl who's just crying on the side of the street, because what's their business? And so yeah, I was like, at this point I didn't know if I was going to get in. I was like, it's just not going to happen. But I think another thing that really did help me is my personal statement. So if I'm jumping around all over the place, but I'm just talking about it as I remember. And my personal statement, I think, is what really helped me. So even where like my UCAT results may not have been the best, they weren't bad, they just weren't the best. I think I was just in the average, and usually obviously you want to aim for above average. My personal statement, I think, made up for it. And one of the things I'll definitely say is, even though I didn't have work experience, which is a main talking point of your personal statement, which is talking about, you know, what you learned in your work experience, where you did with your work experience, what you saw, what parts of that kind of reinforced the idea that you want to go into dentistry, all of that. I didn't have that. So I had to kind of use what I did have. And luckily, because you know, anyone who knows me knows I'm quite random. Like one day I decide I want to be a cake decorator, the next day I want to be an astronaut, the next day I want to be a singer, the day after that I want to be a coder, like all kinds of stuff. And so because I dabbled in so much stuff, I had a lot of other stuff to kind of talk about. So I was able to pull from the work experience that I did have in other fields. So being a technician with Apple at the time, I was able to talk about how, you know, I'm used to having to repair like fragile small equipment, and then I was able to compare like a mouth to a phone and you know what, you know, it can't be too different. Repairing a phone, repairing a mouth, same thing. I was able to talk about the fragility of like, you know, baking cakes. I was learning Chinese at the time and other kinds of languages and stuff, and I was able to talk about what that was like. And then what I did do was I asked a friend of mine who had done dental work experience, weirdly enough, but she never decided to apply for dentistry, like what her experience was like, what she saw, what she did, and used that in my statement as well to talk about. I know personal statements are not everybody's strong point. They're not usually mine. I think in that case I just knew I kind of had to come correct with my personal statement because I knew the UCAT wasn't going to be I knew it wasn't going to be my shining moment. I do know a lot of people who, when it came to the personal statement, they just fell short. Some of them were like better suited to dentistry than me, probably, but they just didn't get it because when it came to their personal statement, it just wasn't well worded, if that makes sense. Because they had the work experience, they had the knowledge. Like I said, they'd been wanting to do this for a while, but I feel like maybe the reason that they didn't get in was just a personal statement. So once again, that's probably something where you would want to look for a resource that can help you with personal statements. I know there are dental students who are happy to kind of look over prospective dental students like personal statements, help them out. I know some people charge, some people don't. But also, once again, the site that I mentioned earlier, I Want to Be a Dentist, I know that they do a service when it comes to personal statements where you can actually send in your personal statements, and they actually have, you know, experienced either like dental students or people, dental professionals who can actually look at your personal statement, can give feedback and corrections and things like that, to kind of actually help tailor it. Once again, I feel like if that's not your strong suit, that's something that I would definitely look into. If anything, I would say, even though like I'm in dental school now, like I said, I finessed my way in, the one thing I would definitely say is I wouldn't have taken so much of a chance. Like when I was applying, I feel like I chanced the whole thing. Like I could have done way more. I could have, you know, like I said, done courses. I could have asked for help from current dental students, all that kind of stuff, and I just never did. And kind of just hoped for the best. And in my case, yes, it did work out, so I'm very, very grateful for that. But now looking back, I just really chanced the whole thing, and I feel like just don't do that, especially if you are someone who's been wanting to do dentistry for a long time and you don't want to spend years and years applying to something. Because even when I was applying, that was one thing I said to myself was, I'll be honest, I'm only going to apply for dentistry once, and if I don't get in, then that's it. Like, backup plan, which was to just go down the route of coding and all that stuff. I already had like a job and everything set up, like I would have been just fine. If you were the type of person where like, or maybe you've been applying already and you're finding it very difficult, or maybe you've had to go through like a couple of rejections, and I know what it feels like to get the rejections, trust me, then I would say definitely look into courses that can help you. And I will put the link in the description box as well, for anyone who is interested in the one that I mentioned. The only reason I mentioned that one as well is because I've actually looked into them and I know that they're actually good. And because if anyone's lazy like me, I don't like to have to go to a bunch of different places. Like I don't want to get my UCAT help over here and then get help with my personal statement from over here, and then have to go over here to get help for interviews and all that kind of stuff. Like I would prefer everything all in one place. And for that website, I know all the information is all in one place, so at least I know like if I recommend that one or send you guys there, then I know you're gonna find all the information you need all in one place. So I will definitely go ahead and check that one out. I will have a link and a code in the description box as well that you can use. I have spoken to them and they have been kind enough to give me a code as well that you guys can use as well, which I believe will give you guys a discount. I can't remember how much it is, but I will clarify it in the description box as well, so that will help you guys out as well. I do know that if you are somebody who's maybe from maybe a financial background where you might need a little bit more assistance, or might need a further discount or anything like that, I know that that is something that they do take into consideration as well. So when I did look as well, I know if you are entitled to things like, you know, maintenance loan or maintenance grant or free school meals or things like that as well, that there is a larger discount for you as well in regards to if you need the courses or anything like that. If you are someone who feels like you need that kind of assistance, then check that out. If not, and you're ready to kind of just do it on your own and, you know, like I did, and chance your luck with it, then by all means, like, you know, if you feel like you can finesse it, finesse it. What I will do another video where I will talk to you guys about like my personal statement, and I might actually go ahead and read it in the oh Lord help me, I'll read out both of them, like the ones that I did for my undergrad degree, so medical genetics, and my dental school one. Anyway, we'll see. Anyway, I'll see how I feel, whether I'm actually going to read it out or not, because I'm not even gonna lie, one of them is actually thoroughly disgraceful, but hey, it is what it is. So I will go ahead and maybe read it out in another video for you guys, not in this one. But to anyone who is applying, good luck. I'm sure you will be fine. Once again, like I always say, if you do have questions, you can always DM me, you can always ask in the comments, and I will do my best to answer what I can. But yeah, and let me know as well in the comments what other videos you would like to know about, what other kind of things you'd like to know in regards to dental school or anything else. I do have a few more videos coming your way over the coming weeks. Don't forget, of course, if you did find this video useful, to like the video, please. If this is the first time you've kind of come across one of my videos and you are finding the content interesting, feel free to check out another one of my videos as well. Or you could just go ahead and subscribe, you know. That's just something you could try doing as well, maybe. I don't know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.
Give me all that you got now.